An eventful week it has been, with surprising scores or maybe surprising teams beating teams that were not being expected to be beaten. But anyway, it has been an eventful week. Like I said earlier, welcome to Off the Pitch, the show that gives you nothing but the best in terms of sports. And today on set, I'm joined by two young, I don't know if I would call them my comrades. I call them. I'm joined by my comrades with I'm joined with Augustine and one Julius. I don't know what has happened to Angorapson. He's acting up as if it's him who lost, huh? But anyway, Julius, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Amos, for having me. It's good to be here. I think I've been missing in action for about 2 weeks, yeah, but it's good to be back home. But I'm upset with you, Amos. I was sick last week and you couldn't even wish me quick recovery. So,
I don't know. We'll make it up.
But anyway, the devil is a liar. I'm back. I'm back.
Very true.
It's good to be here, and it's also good to see you, Augustine, and good morning to the viewers out there.
Augustine.
Thank you very much, Amos. We return all the glory and honor to the Most High God, and good morning to the viewers out there. 17 teams in the Super League have been confirmed for next season. We are only waiting just for one. It's either Mighty Mfulia Wanderers or Changa Rangers. What an explosive afternoon we expect today in the Eden League.
Let's look at the race so far, Augustine. Like you've said, there are 17 teams already, only one slot remaining, and the decider is this week. How has been the Eden League so far before? Maybe we go much into it, just a brief about it.
It's been an entertaining league. We have had pretenders who started very well. Trident looked like they were a team that were up there and fighting for those promotion places. Then we saw Changa Rangers in the second round. They discovered their form. Likewise, Mighty Mfulia Wanderers, I think to me they have had a better second round. If they did this in the first round, I think to me some teams maybe wouldn't have won promotion. Musa outstanding. I think to me the going in of Masa also, I think he transformed the football club and has brought them back into the Super League. Pemutapa, likewise, Napsa, massive season for them. I think to me they didn't score a lot of goals, but they were very solid. They kept their shape, and they have been one of those wonderful teams to watch in the Eden League, and disappointing enough, Livingston Pirates and Kaisa getting relegated. Okay,
Julius, I think before we go much into the Eden League, let's look at this news which is trending on social media, the one that Zambia wants to buy it for us to host the 2025 AFCON. And you know, in us trying to buy this, we are challenging Algeria, Burkina Faso, and Morocco. These are countries that are among the contenders to host the AFCON, but are we capable of doing that?
I must start by saying this. I haven't been to any of the 3 countries before, Algeria, Burkina Faso, and Morocco. But from the pictures that we've seen on social media, I'm sure and I'm convinced that these countries have better infrastructure compared to Zambia. So if really Zambia wants to bid, I don't think we are ready to host such kind of a tournament in our country. First things first, look at the infrastructure that we have in our country. How many big stadiums do we have in our country? At the moment we only have Levy and Heroes Stadium. Of course, that just puts us off because we can't host a big tournament with only 2 stadiums, obviously. If you remember very well, I think government had come in with this idea of building stadiums in every provincial town of the country. So we're supposed to have we have a stadium in Lusaka, we have a stadium in Ndola. We're supposed to have an ultra-modern stadium in Solwezi, an ultra-modern stadium in Chipata, ultra-modern stadium in Western Province, and I think in Northern and Wapula Province. So if we had those infrastructures in place already, Amos, I feel it would have been a problem hosting such kind of a tournament, but just the infrastructure itself is kicking us out of the way of hosting the tournament. But not just talking about the stadium, but also looking at. I think we also need malls. I mean, there are better malls that we need. Amos. I mean, people have built beautiful infrastructures in their countries. So really. For now, I don't think we're ready. Morocco stands a better chance to host because Morocco, trust me, has got beautiful infrastructure. They've got what it takes to host such kind of a tournament. So for us, let's just keep participating in that Africa. Sorry, I don't mean to be harsh, but let's just keep participating in the Africa Cup of Nations. And then maybe when we improve in as far as infrastructure is concerned, then I'm sure we'll be able to be ready to host that kind of a tournament. But for now, let them just be rumors. Let them just be rumors.
Augustine, let's look at the 3 A's that's there because we're in 2022. So meaning we still have 3 A's. Are we able to achieve what Julius is saying we have to achieve?
No. I think if you look at the standards that we have currently, I will not focus more on the other things because it takes a lot to host a tournament. It's not just the stadiums. I think to me it's a lot of things that come into play. And if you look at the current state of our country, I do not think we have got the capacity to host the Africa Cup of Nations in is it 3 years time? Yeah. And remember, this is an expanded tournament. It's no longer the 16 teams that we are used to. So infrastructures have to be. You have to have enough infrastructures because in previous years. 4 stadiums were enough to host the AFCON, but things have changed now. Look at Cameroon, the infrastructures that they have for the tournament. Yes, they were not really up to top standards. They had a little bit of areas where they could have improved on, but at least they managed to host a tournament. Looking at Zambia, I do not think we've got enough when it comes to the infrastructures. Levi Mwanawasa Stadium and Hero Stadium are not enough. And realistically speaking, at this particular time, we only have Levi Mwanawasa Stadium because Hero Stadium is in a very, very bad state.
Deplorable state.
Exactly. And just to answer this is just a couple of weeks ago, there was a concert in Hero Stadium, and the ABSA Cup was supposed to be hosted at the Hero Stadium. What happened? They started sweating to find where to host the ABSA Cup, and they ended up taking it to Nkoloma Stadium. This shows how our football hasn't improved. I think to me, we are trying to convince ourselves that we are on the right path, but truth be told, I think to me we are very, very behind. I think I would like to support the words of Sven van der Broek when maybe he said we're not a footballing nation. Maybe the guy was right because 20 years down the line, 20 years ago, the same standards of the Super League stadiums where I go to are the same. Nothing has changed. They haven't improved in the infrastructure. Look at teams like Moses Swallows when they came up, the kind of stadiums they were using. Costa Stadium, was that stadium fit to host a Premier League team? In Kawe, they use President Stadium, Prison Leopards. Is that fit to host a Super League? I think to me we need to raise our standards in terms of what we need to put in place, because some infrastructures, I think to me, don't add up when it comes to being in the Super League. This is the main reason why, even when it comes to bidding for big tournaments like the Africa Cup of Nations, we cannot manage. This is not an under-20 tournament where you just need 2 stadiums. We need about 8 stadiums to host the Africa Cup of Nations, and if you look at the current state, we can't manage.
Almost like Augustine is saying, if really we have to host, if we're bidding to host this Africa's big tournament, look at some of our teams. I'll give this example because it's my team. Look at Cabo Warriors. They played in Continental this season. Did they use the Godfrey Yucatán Stadium?
Exactly.
No. Which stadium did they use? They used Levi Mwanawasa Stadium. How can we bid to host? Exactly. So now, Amos, how can we bid to host a big tournament when we have our own clubs, local clubs
failing to use their
using the two reliable stadiums that we have in the country? But it's a problem.
Let's look at the way Hero Stadium is getting dilapidated.
Yeah.
And every day it's getting worse.
And let's look at the Independence, which I don't know, which is still the home stadium for Green Buffalo.
Coming back to Hero Stadium, almost before we even get to Independence Stadium, I attended the Snatch concert on Saturday, I think last weekend. I was at Hero Stadium, and I deliberately visited the Ablution Block, and it's in a mess.
It's a joke.
Yeah, because I wanted to really see for myself if really what I've been seeing on social media is true, and I felt really bad. It's really a sorry sight. You see, Hero Stadium, when it was built, it was a very beautiful stadium.
And it is the recently built big stadium.
Yeah, but look at its state right now. The toilets are not being taken care of. Really, there's so much that we have to do. if really we have to improve in that area. I think the government really needs to look into that, and they need to. I think people need to do the right job. Yeah, right job. I think people are sleeping somewhere. People are not doing the right thing.
And those are our opinions, like I always say. But you cannot as well call us and give us your own opinion if we are capable of hosting the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations, because that's what that's what's on social media, that we want to host the AFCON 2025. For now, we'll just take a very short break as we get back and look at what happened in the APSA and seeing how this year has been for NAPSA Stars.
Hello, I'm Deborah Lukalu, all the way from South Africa. You are watching Camnet Channel, not just another channel. God bless you. Stay tuned.
APSA Cup, and I would say NAPSA managed to give us a shock that we didn't expect. We saw that I was going into the game with high hopes, but then there was delay in the game, and Augustine was there with Julius and Angorapson to cover that day. So I don't know how it was and how you felt, you guys, looking at the game was supposed to kick off at 15 sharp, and then there were delayments that were there. I don't know how it costed the morale of players.
I think let's start with Augustine to take us through how the atmosphere was.
Yeah. So the APSA Cup final hosted at Nkoloma Stadium. I think it was an eventful final. The fans turned out in large numbers. You saw the stadium was fully packed, and there were some who didn't manage to come through. We went into the stadium, I think around 12. People started arriving as early as 10 hours at Nkoloma Stadium, because it's the only cup competition in the country, and everyone was in high morale and wanted to be part of the final. NAPSA Stars arrived. They first took to the field to feel the pitch, then Red Arrows, and then you can feel the atmosphere that it was going to be one electric final, and the atmosphere, I think, contributed. The boys came for warm-up. After warm-up, mostly players go back to the dressing room somewhere around 14:45 to 14:50, somewhere like they go back to the changing room, getting ready for kickoff at 15 hours. But there was delay, and kickoff delayed for 1 hour. I think the players went into the dressing room 1 hour waiting for kickoff, which we kicked off around, was it 15:40 something, I think.
So which is roughly
which
16.
wasn't very, very good for the players, because now the muscles get back to their normal condition, because they had warmed up and the muscles were very, very good, in good shape, and they had to wait for another hour to try and kick off. And you could see a slow start in the final. Both teams looked like they were not very, very... They were not up for the final in the first 5 minutes. When you saw the rhythm wasn't there, the flow of the game wasn't there, until we started reaching the 20th minute, 30th minute. That's when both teams now heated up and grew into the final. I think it was a wonderful final, one to remember. Napsa Stars winning it with a brilliant goal. You never see a better goal in the final than that of Chinese Azul. What a wonderful striker to win the final for the so-called underdogs, Napsa Stars. But you remember, going into the game, there were a lot of mind games that were being played from both Red Arrows and Napsa Stars. And after the game, I had a chat with Perry Mutapa, and he was quick to mention that we have beaten the best team in the country, and it's not easy. We haven't found ourselves in this position by fluke, and that's very, very, very true. A lot of people went to say Red Arrows took the game lightly, they underrated Napsa. It's not like that. I think Napsa Stars had a very, very good game plan on the day, and they executed it very, very well. They worked on Red Arrow's strength and closed that, and they had a very, very good structure. Whenever they lost the ball, they never looked like conceding. Napsa Stars, I think, to me, credit must go to Perry Mutapa. He did a lot of research, and the plan was well executed on the final day.
Lok Chepeshi, Lok Ricky Banda, Alassana Diarra, you've looked at the Darrows. Those were some of the ways that Perry Mutapa said.
Exactly. That's the only way that you can tame Red Arrows, if you really have to win. But I think one important aspect that we can also bring out, like my brother Augustine has said, I think most of us as fans were happy to see the head of state in the stadium, especially that from the time that he was elected as president of the country, he hasn't been in a stadium to watch soccer.
Oh, yeah.
So it was good to see him as guest of honor and coming in just to give that support to both teams. We're obviously looking forward to him being part and parcel of the crowds when the national team are going to be in action. But then it was good to see him come. Though he came a little bit late, we cannot comment as to why he came late. Amos, we do not know the reason why. But obviously he was a guest of honor on that particular day, so we had to wait for him to come. But very sad that the game had to finish in the night. I don't know, for those that love pictures, Augustine, I don't know if they were able to take proper pics in the night, especially looking at the time that the game had ended. But anyway, all in all, congratulations to Napsa Stars for emerging winners of the 2022 Absa Cup. For me personally, I thought Red Arrows was just going to take it easy in this game. Yeah, I must openly say this on TV that actually thought that Arrows were going to have it easy.
Easier.
But then Napsa showed us the other side. They showed us that, sorry, you know what, this is what we're made of. And I think Coach Perry Mutapa has proven to us that he's one of the best tacticians that we have in the land. So huge congratulations to Napsa Stars, and also huge congratulations also to Red Arrows for being crowned champions over 2021-2022 season of the MTN Super League. Coming back quickly to your issue that you raised, Amos, I've always told people, if you have to win Red Arrows, their ball comes from the midfield and in the wing. So if you really have to kill them, kill Diala, kill Yusuf, and just kill the midfield. And then unlock Ricky Banda. Trust me, you're not going to see Red Arrows come to the party. And that's exactly what happened. And I'm reliably informed that the NAPSA boys were cycled, all right? They were taken through a station, I think it was on a Wednesday, I think before the tournament, on a Wednesday, where coach sat with them almost the whole day and you were telling them, guys, this is how those boys play. Lock Yusuf, lock Diala, and just lock their midfield and lock Ricky Banda. You're not going to come and see them come to part. And that's exactly what we saw NAPSA did. So really, congratulations once again to NAPSA. I'm looking forward to them playing in the MTN Super League. They've actually bounced back. So with the way they played, I can assure you, Amos, that they're going to be a team to reckon with in the MTN Super League. NAPSA is back. You remember they were absent for a year, so now they are back, and former Profound Warriors. It will be good to see how they're going to play their games in the MTN Super League, especially looking at how they played the beautiful game that they played in the ABSA final.
Let's look at how is it a boost, Augustine, getting promoted and winning the ABSA?
Yeah, I think if you look at NAPSA Stars, their main target at the start of the season was let's qualify back to the Super League. I think to me that was their main target, and they achieved it on the. I think to me the way NAPSA Stars achieved their promotion, I think to me was very key to how the final panned out, because NAPSA Stars achieved promotion before the final was being played. If it was the other way around, I think to me it would have been very tricky for NAPSA Stars, because having in mind they have to deal with the pressure of qualifying back to the Super League, which was their main objective at the start of the season. So they would have been caught in between the final and qualifying for the Eden Super League. Sorry. So and you saw the race for the Eden Super League towards the end. It intensified. I think to me it got a little tougher. So NAPSA Stars did their job very well at this just a week before the final, and you would see when they went into the final, NAPSA Stars' plan was let's try and shut Red Arrows in all angles. Let's kill the rhythm of the game, because if you ask everyone who watched the final, I think to me there was no flow to that game. There were a lot of fouls, a lot of stoppages. I think NAPSA Stars calculated their moves very well, and they were very smart in executing them. Xidin Kalume was very key in the center of the park. He blocked everything from Alassane Diarra so that he wouldn't find Ricky Banda. At the times that they found Ricky Banda, he was always isolated with Luca Banda and David Odiambo closely marking him. I think to me, Perry Mutapa very smart in how he went with his tactics. NAPSA Stars' plan was let's stay in the game, maybe up to 70th minute, maybe let's take it to penalty shootouts. And their plan B was when we score, let's now try and kill the game, let's manage the tempo of the game. And they did just that. Red Arrows tried to change it towards the very end, but it was too late. NAPSA Stars had already done the job. They were playing Kapemba Msonda very good. I think to me his order play was very key. He brought Chaniza Zulu into the game. I think one bright spark I saw in the final game from NAPSA Stars was Ziang Jimmy Muke. I think to me he's one player who hasn't had the very best of season. I think to me has had a lot of personal issues which have had an impact
losing
on
both parents.
Losing both parents, which has been very hard for the young boy. But you saw the way he came into the final was very bright. I was very impressed with him being positive whenever he was in possession of the ball. Credit must go to NAPSA Stars. I think to me, congratulations, because mostly teams from the Eden League struggle when it comes to the only cup competition. And looking at the overall tournament, Benedict Chepeshi was voted the player of the tournament deservedly. So I think to me he has been one of the best players, not just in the ABSA Cup but in the league. Consistency, performances have been there. And man of the match on the final was Chaniza Zulu. Top scorer of the tournament was Alassane Diarra with 2 goals. Probably this is the area where we need to improve, because a top scorer cannot come out with 2 goals. I think to me, meaning there's
and the midfielder,
a midfielder in Alassane Diarra. I think to me, and he would have scored the first goal in the final if he was very clinical in front of goal. 2 goals, Alassane Diarra, and coach of the tournament Perry Mutapa deservedly. So I think to me, him and Chisimbewe are the future of Zambian football, and for us to see them go toe to toe, I think in the final tactically they are all on point. I think credit must go to both of them, because we saw the future of Zambian coaching, because these guys now will take Zambian football to the next level. And looking at ABSA Cup, where do they need to improve as the entire tournament? I think to me, let's try and find a way where we can have everyone participating in this tournament. We used to have the Mosi Cup, which used to start from the lower leagues. Everyone would participate. ABSA Cup can say will come in heavily when you reach the quarterfinals. That's when you start sponsoring your traveling and logistics. But the tournaments can start maybe with 62 teams eliminating each other, getting to 32, 16, and probably the last 8. Because it's the only cup competition in the land, and everyone would love to participate in the ABSA Cup. We need to improve on that. And one thing which I saw ABSA can do better, I think, to me, is the branding. You do not remove the badges of teams on their jerseys. I think, to me, that it didn't sit well with me. We see Heineken sponsoring the UEFA Champions League. Have you ever seen Chelsea wearing a Heineken jersey in the final? No, it doesn't really like that. I think, to me, we need to try and iron out these little things, because they paint a bad picture when it comes to Zambian football. We look like we're amateur. Where, in which professional league do you see teams being dressed by the sponsors in the final? We see McDonald's sponsoring the FA Cup. Do you see teams in the FA Cup being dressed McDonald's? No. Yes, you are the sponsors, but I think you can have your logos on the sleeves of the jerseys or somewhere else, but not branding the entire kits for the teams. I think, to me, that was one disappointing thing which we need to improve. And now, organization. We need to have a clear roadmap at the start of the tournament, where and when the final, the quarterfinal, the final, and the semi-final will be played. We do not need to change at the last minute. We need to have a clear roadmap, a clear plan, and everyone who is involved needs to be on board.
Let's transfer our attention to the races for qualification. As we said earlier, Augustine, 17 teams are already confirmed, and we have Musa, NAPSA, Stars confirming their MTN Super League status. But let's look at the race between Nchanga and Mighty Mufulira Wanderers. We've got today, in fact, Kaisa is hosting Nchanga Rangers, and we've got another game where we are seeing Mighty Mufulira Wanderers being hosted by Zesco Malaiti Rangers, and these are do-or-die games for these two teams. Let's look at the race, Augustine, from the beginning, or maybe I'll start with you, Julius. Who are you giving it?
Well, I've always said this, that I have a soft spot for Brave Nchanga Rangers. I think they're the second team that I support apart from Cabo Warriors, and well, it's tricky. It's a do or die, like you've said, because if Nchanga Rangers drops points in this game and Mighty Mufulira Wanderers collects maximum points, then automatically Nchanga Rangers are kicked out of the race and Mighty Mufulira Rangers bounce back to the Super League. Both teams are eagerly looking forward to bouncing back to the Super League. I must say this about Nchanga Rangers coach Robert Tembo, veteran coach. This is a coach that helped
Celtic promoted.
Yes, this is a coach that helped Celtic get promoted back to the Super League. Unfortunately, on a sad note, now the team that he brought to the Super League has been demoted, going back to the Eden National Division. Nchanga Rangers, at first, in the first quarter, they were not playing a very good football, but they've rejuvenated. Now they're playing. They've been collecting maximum points in most of their games. The top striker in the Eden National League, actually, Amos, is a player from Nchanga Rangers, Christina, the Congolese. Even though Nchanga Rangers is going to qualify to or be promoted to the Super League, I don't see Christina being part of the squad come next season. Trust me on that one. You come and tell me when we come back on the show. I don't see him coming back. So for me, I have a soft spot for Nchanga Rangers, and I'm hoping that they should collect maximum points in that game, because Kaisa is not playing for anything. That's the point. Kaisa is not playing for anything, so hoping that Nchanga Rangers can collect maximum points. But obviously, you know how these teams are. They can just cause an upset. So it's possible in football. Anything is possible. They can cause an upset on Nchanga Rangers. But then coming to Mighty Mufulira Rangers, Mighty Awine Chungulo, we miss that support. In the Super League, you know, the only support that we have, the only team that has a huge support base in the country is there are only two, Augustine, that's Nkana Football Club and Mighty Mufulira Wanderers. At the moment in the Super League, we only have Nkana. So we're looking forward also to see Mighty bounce back, because we feel sorry for our colleagues that do come to the stadium and they're wearing a Mighty, replica. I don't want to mention names. Mighty replica, you know. Looking forward to their team. So hoping that Mighty Mufulira Wanderers also they'll collect maximum points. But for me, I have a soft spot for Brave Changa Rangers. But like you said earlier, it's a do or die fixture, so it's really going to be tricky. But at the end of the day, may the best team win, and hoping that may the team that is meant to be promoted be promoted at the end of the day.
Augustine.
Yeah, I think with looking at both teams, Mighty Mfulira Wanderers and Changa Rangers have been away from the Super League for so many years, and a lot of people out there, football lovers, just for the romance, would love to see Changa Rangers bounce back. And Mighty Mfulira Wanderers, they have done a fantastic job. I think to me the second round of the season has been perfect for them. Charles Kafula, together with is it Matthews Tembo, who was the former Harrison Tembo, who was the former Red Arrows assistant coach. They are part of the Mighty Mfulira Wanderers technical bench. They've done a very, very good job. We've talked about Owen. He's done a very good job at Changa Rangers. He promoted Kafue Celtic promoted last season. What we have going into this final round of fixtures is that it's not in the hands of Mighty Mfulira Wanderers. That's the sad part with Mighty fans. They have to hope and bet on Changa Rangers result. And Changa Rangers, all they need to do is that they just need to win their game against Kaisa and get promoted. And what we have got from Chungola is that Changa Rangers have been promised 5,000 each player when they win as winning bonuses when they beat Kaisa, and 15,000 when they manage to win promotion. So they'll be walking away with 20,000 come the end of the day if they manage to win in Kabwe. And we've got players like Zinda Wabanda, very, very good defender, I think, to me, on loan from Power Dynamos. He's been a pillar at Changa Rangers. He scored vital goals. He's been very, very good in both boxes for Changa Rangers. And Changa Rangers, they have got Angel, who came from City of Lusaka, very, very good technical player. I think to me he's very, very intelligent. And you see those players are the kind of players that will see Changa Rangers over the line come this afternoon. Boyzani calls them slot buyers. They got the slot from Security City. So we just hope all teams will give it their all. Mighty Mfulira Wanderers should play their lungs out together with Nchanga so that the best team comes up. But I do not see Nchanga Rangers missing this one. I think to me they'll get it done and bounce back into the Super League. And Mighty have got a tricky game against Zesco Malaiti. Zesco Malaiti were struggling. They are fighting for their lives most parts of the season. They are now all but safe. But coming to Munis, it's not an easy place. Nchanga came and got beat at Munis. So Mighty Mfulira Wanderers are coming to Munis. The last time they came in, I think, back-to-back trips in Lusaka, lost Police College, lost against Napsa Stars. Now they are facing a tricky Zesco Malaiti side. I think to me it's going to be an interesting afternoon when it comes to Eden football. It's been an amazing season with regards to football in the Eden League.
Maybe just a quick one. Other games that are being played in the Eden, Augustine and Julius. We've got Kitwe United, who will be hosting Police College, and we've got City of Lusaka, who will be hosting Young Green Eagles, and we've got Young Green Buffaloes, who will be hosting Jumulo Livingston Pirates versus Trident, Gomes versus Napsa Stars, and Luapula Green Eagles versus Lumwana Radiance. And lastly, we've got Zesco Malaiti Rangers versus Mfulira Wanderers. Any exciting game and any exciting fixture here that you see, gentlemen?
Napsa Gomes. Napsa calling this their graduation from the Eden University. I think to me this will be one game to watch. I think Napsa Stars play good football. They have showed that they have got character and strong personality in that dressing room. Bouncing back, first time of asking, winning the Absa Cup. They'll be going into this game full of confidence against a Gomes side who have proved to be, let me say, spoilers, because they have beaten big teams this season. Gomes, they have got those surprise results in them. They can turn up for one weekend and the other weekend, I think to me, they are nowhere to be seen. So expect a very, very good encounter at Dollar Hill this afternoon. Napsa versus Gomes, that's one to look out for.
Changa Rangers, Kaisa, Kites are not playing for anything, but Nchanga Rangers are playing to be promoted, and not just that, they're motivated because they've been offered the 5,000 if they win today's game. They've been offered the 15,000 if they are promoted to the Super League. So already they have 20,000 that they're playing for. I don't think they're going to travel all the way from Chingola, come to Kawe and play games in that game. Obviously, they're going to play their lungs out. So it will be an interesting game to look out for this weekend, and all the very best, the brave Nchanga Rangers.
Let's not shy away from the fact that we had other games, Augustine, that were happening in terms of our boys who are trading their game that's abroad. But let's look at an interesting one where we saw, firstly, we saw Fashion Sakala giving an equalizer in the derby that was played, that Celtic versus Rangers, and it gave a boost to him, but we saw him maybe starting on the bench within the course of the week as they played their semi-final at hosting RB Leipzig. But let's look at it. How is it a boost, and how has been Fashion Sakala's performance so far in his first season?
I think if you look at Fashion Sakala, his performances at Rangers, I think to me he's been fantastic. He scored a lot of goals both in the league and in cup games. He hasn't found the back of the net in the European competitions. I hope he finds that in the final against NK Frankfurt. Against Leipzig, it was always going to be tough going to the Ibrox. I think to me, Rangers have proved to be very, very stubborn playing at home, and you saw the atmosphere. I think to me that was incredible. I think being led by the captain Tavernier, very, very brilliant footballer. I think to me, he leads by example. He's a quality player. You thought with the absence of Ralph and Alfredo Morelos, you thought it was going to be very, very difficult for Rangers, but they found a way. I think to me, the winner was called, was it by Lamstrom? I think to me, he started as a centre back and they led the game as a central midfielder and scored the crucial goal which saw Rangers get into the final. Credit must go to Giovanni Broncos. He's done a fantastic job taking over from Rangers, or from Steven Gerrard. Sorry, yes, they haven't won the league. It has been very, very tough. Celtic are doing very, very well, and he has taken them to the topmost, the European competition. I think to me the final, the last time they played it was in 2008, and they lost it at the Etihad when they played Zenit St. Petersburg. They have got another chance, Rangers. I think to me, Fashion Sakala, brilliant opportunity for a Zambian to win a European competition, a major European competition, because we have had Patson Daka who has won the UEFA League Youth League. Now Fashion Sakala is in the finals. A lot of people haven't been talking about his development at Rangers, but he's been progressing steadily. And come next season, Fashion Sakala will be a force to reckon with.
Julia,
I think for me, his performance has been brilliant at Rangers. I actually thought that Gerrard leaving, he was actually not going to be given game time at Rangers, but it's been a different case. Gerrard has left, but then we're still seeing him being part of most of the games, and he's been scoring important goals for Rangers. But for me, Amos, his performance is actually good for us back home, especially the national team, because remember that the national team will be in action in June as we start to play Africa Cup qualifying matches in June, and the first game is against Ivory Coast and the second is against Comoros back home in Lusaka. So if we have our international players that are really performing and active at their respective clubs, then obviously it's going to work well for us, because I don't think we're going to have a problem with who's going to score for the national team, because remember that we have been having challenges with who to score for us, and the national team coach made it clear that for those players that are not going to be active at their respective clubs, they're not going to receive any call-up to the national team. So obviously, looking at the performance of Fashion Sakala, he must count himself in as far as playing for the national team is concerned, because he's been active at his respective club and he's been banging in those important goals for his team Rangers. So obviously, Coach Aljosa has Fashion Sakala on his list for those players that are going to come and play for the national team.
Let's look at a low performance that Patson Daka has been having so far, Augustine. We've seen he started well, and where do you see the problem being?
I think it's very, very tough to try and put a finger why it's not happening for Patson Daka, because I think to me one thing you get from Patson Daka is always an honest performance. He gives his all, he runs for the team, he closes this down for the team, he's always trying. I think to me what he needs to improve going forward, I think to me, is how he opens up for a pass. I think to me these are critical things that Brendan Rodgers will try and talk to him about and trying to improve in his game, because Patson Daka is not an all-round player. I think to me he's not the kind of player who will be involved in build-up play. He's just very, very good in the box, and if Leicester want him to do that, I think to me they will have it difficult to get the best out of Patson Daka, because that's not his strength. If he can just play Patson Daka high up the field, the last man on the last defender's shoulders, try and run in behind and feed him with a lot of balls into the box, I think to me we'll get the job done. But it hasn't been a very, very disappointing season for Patson Daka. I think to me he has had the average season. His first season in the top leagues in Europe, he has scored 10 goals, 4 in the Super League, in the Premier League, and 6 in the European competitions. I think to me that's a very good return for someone who is playing for a club like Leicester for the very first time. It's just that we are too expectant here in Zambia. I think to me we just thought Patson Daka would be challenging the likes of Mo Salah for the Golden Boot just after signing for Leicester. Look at Kelechi Iheanacho. He's got better numbers than Kelechi Iheanacho, but no one is shooting down Kelechi Iheanacho. I think to me, we need to learn in how we analyze our players. I think Patson Daka, all he needs to do is let him work on his technical abilities. He needs to try and be very brave with his movements. Those are areas where I feel he's always lacking. If he's not good when it comes to build up play, let him not come down deep to receive the ball, because every time he'll be losing it, because he's not ready to do that kind of a job. It needs confidence. Once the confidence is back, he can now become involved more in the build up. I think for now all he can just concentrate on is putting the ball into that net, playing alongside Madison. We see a different Patson Daka, but when he's played with Ademola Lookman or Harvey Barnes, I think to me he's always lost when he's playing with the two. Amos,
why would we blame our very own if he has scored 10 goals from the time that he joined the staff?
Exactly.
We're being really unfair. Really, if we have to be realistic, and that's a problem, like Augustine is saying, that's a problem that we have as Zambians. We are too expectant. Guys, let's be realistic. Look at where he's coming from. How many goals did he score at the team where he was? And where is he now? Which team has he joined? He's playing in the English Premier League for the very first time. And I think Brendan Rodgers made it clear when they signed him that he's a long-term signing. So obviously he's a replacement for Vardy, but then him being a replacement for Vardy, he's not coming in to replace Vardy
just
now and then. You get the point? No, it's a long-term thing.
Process.
Exactly, because Vardy is now growing old. So that's the reason why you're now able to see Patson Daka now. Sometimes he's able to start, because at first when he just joined Leicester City, he was not able to start. He was always on the bench. Sometimes you just come in, it's like in additional minutes. So, but now we are able to see him even come in. He can start the game, and then Jimmy Vardy will be brought in. So I think for me, what's important is he's getting acquainted to the system, and he's getting used. And trust me, come next season, I'm sure he's going to be banging in those goals. Already he's got 10 goals. So for me, I think we really need to be proud of him and give him support. Like Augustine has said, for me, I was having a debate with my friend on this same issue, and I was telling him, say, look, for me, those guys are just selfish. Patson Daka is not a kind of a player who can fight for the ball.
And run with the ball.
Exactly. He's different from Fashion Sakala. Him, when he's in the box, you have to feed him. That's the kind of striker that he is. So really, the Leicester City players are just selfish. They don't create chances for him. So you end up seeing our very own Patson Daka coming from in front, has to go behind, and he's busy running around the pitch, and he looks lost. In the end, he's going to be substituted. So I think for me, he plays better when there's Iheanacho on the pitch, and also Madison. there are chances that are created for him, but if these two are not on the pitch, man, it's always a miss for Patson. But I think it would be very harsh and unfair to really judge him that he's had a poor performance or a poor run at Leicester City. He's just come, he's just joined them, and it takes time for somebody really to adjust to the English Premier League. Remember that that's one of the best leagues we have in the world. So really, we should really be proud that we have our very own who's playing in such kind of a league. So I think let's be a little bit patient and let's give him more time, and I'm sure that he's able to produce.
It's a similar story with Enoch Mwepu. I think when he started, a lot of people thought he wouldn't manage in the Premier League because in the first 3-4 games, his performances were not up to scratch. But you can see as he started adapting and getting used to the way of playing, I think to me, credit must go to the coach for finding the right pairings. Him and Yves Bissouma, I think to me, are very, very crucial for Brighton. And you've seen now Enoch Mwepu has become an integral part in that Brighton side. He's become a key player. I think he's earned that right. I think to me, scoring big goals at Anfield, scoring big goals at the Emirates Stadium, I think to me that's not easy. So Enoch Mwepu has adjusted this game, and the team is playing to his strength. I think to me sometimes you see him being playing as a number 10 because maybe the game will be too fast for him in midfield and it will be very, very congested. The coach is very, very smart to try and put him in an area where he will be finding spaces and making things happen. It can happen to Patson Daka at Leicester when Brendan Rodgers starts playing to his strength, because Patson Daka is the kind of player, he likes to play on the last defender's shoulders. He's not the kind that will come deep to pick the ball and build up play. He won't get involved in that. So try and advise the boy in doing the right things. I think very, very good season for Enoch Mwepu. He's injured. Probably we might not see him until next season, but he has had a wonderful season.
Amos, those two boys, quickly, Patson Daka and Enoch Mwepu, the two boys are disciplined, and that's even the reason why up to now they're still in the English Premier League. Look at some of the players that we had that have played in the English Premier League before. Yeah, we're not trying to make fun of anybody here, Amos. We had the likes of Collins Mbesuma. How long did he stay at Portsmouth? We had the likes of Emmanuel Mayuka, our very own. How long did he stay at Southampton? So really, it's really unfair if we have to blame our boys. We should actually even be happy that those boys are disciplined and they'll go far in as far as representing the country is concerned.
Let's shift our attention to the UEFA Champions League, Augustine. The game was buried by Manchester City. I think we saw that was in the 88, if I'm not mistaken, or 87th minute. And we saw the shocker. And for me, it was a shocker anyway, because by then, when I saw it going to that minute, I just said, I know it's dead and buried. Let me just stop watching. Let me sleep. But let's look at the Madrid performance, especially Benzema. How would you rate the Madrid performance this season?
I think to me, if you look at the difference between Real Madrid and Manchester City going into that semi-finals, I think to me the only difference was experience. Manchester City would have managed the game easily. I think to me, Real Madrid played 89 minutes without a shot on target, and the next two after that were goals. I think to me, how does that happen? How do you allow that to happen for a team like Manchester City, who are very, very good in position? They move the ball very well. I think to me,
they actually dominated in that game.
Exactly. When the game reached at 1-1, what do you do at Man City? You keep possession because you are good at that, and see the clock wind down and manage the game very well. They brought in Fernandinho trying to do that particular job, but it backfired on Man City because the lack of concentration and experience at that level. I think to me there was immaturity by Jack Grealish. He went a couple of times. He could have made the right decision for the club, not for self-glory, but he went for self-glory and he missed. Rodrigo came from the bench, very, very positive from Don Carlo. He's always in the right spaces at the right time. I think he made a very, very intelligent run to pick up Karim Benzema. I think what a pass from Camavinga, must say, he came and changed that game, found Benzema found Rodrigo 1-1. At that point now you thought, now Man City need to just
defend.
They just need to hold their nerves and see this game out. But I think to me, they tried to push men forward again. Real Madrid won the ball. You saw two defenders high up the field in the box of Man City, Eder Militao and Dani Carvajal. That was experience at its top quality, the cross by Dani Carvajal, because when the ball was played to him by Eder Militao, I think to me he had to take his time and put in a very, very good cross into the box, which Rodrigo buried. The game went into extra time. psychologically Man City will be defeated because they have let a lead in the last minute of the game. So going into the extra time, the ascendancy and is with Real Madrid at that particular time. The momentum was with Real Madrid, and you saw it. The start of the extra time, Ruben Diaz, naive mistake. He could have just stood his ground. Penalty, Karim Benzema converts, and now that was Ketan at that point. You saw the difference, the way they managed the game, Real Madrid compared to Manchester City. They were disturbing the rhythm. They were always falling down, and then they saw the final whistle come. I think credit to Real Madrid. I think to me, Benzema should win the Ballon d'Or this season if Real Madrid.
Amos, quickly, in England, when they played the first game in England, Man City were leading. What happened? Real Madrid came from behind, Augustine, and they were able to score. Is it about 3 goals?
3 goals.
Yes.
Exactly. They go to Spain. What happened? Manchester City, the same situation that happened in England, is leading. Real Madrid come from behind, and they lead, and they qualify to play for the finals already. Just like Augustine says, I'll just borrow his words. Experience worked there. I was listening to the post-match interview of Coach Carlos Ancelotti, and he was being asked, Coach, did you really feel you had buried the game already? You were not going to come back? His answer was simple. He said, no, I actually knew we were going to come back. That's how a veteran coach knows. So for me, already that was just experience that worked for Pep Guardiola. He has to get back to his drawing board really, and put certain things in place. You know,
he overthinks.
Of course, from the time that he joined Manchester City, there's so much positives that we can talk about that he has done. But then kudos to the veteran Ancelotti coming from behind in 2 games and be able to qualify for the finals. It will be interesting to see how Klopp and Ancelotti are going to face each other in that final that will take place in Paris, France. But remember also, Amos, that Real Madrid were crowned champions of the Spanish League with some games to spare already. So Manchester City knew that they were facing a team that has been doing very well in as far as their league is concerned. So for me, I think they were not just ready to play in the final. Yeah, they were not just ready to play in the final.
Mo Salah posted clearly to say, I want Real Madrid. But Augustine, let's look at Real Madrid going into the final, which is a repeat. And we saw Bale performing wonders in that game. But who are you still going to give it to Madrid?
But maybe before even Augustine comes in, do you know the reason why Mo Salah really wanted Real Madrid? Because the last time that they played Real Madrid and Liverpool, there was a challenge between Mo Salah and Sergio Ramos, and you know he was out of that game, and so he still has that anger. He wants to come back for Real Madrid and show them that I'm the real Mo Salah.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting final between 2 of European heavyweights, Liverpool and Real Madrid. And the difference is that Madrid now have settled their league title. I think to me they do not have to panic. They can rotate their squad as much as they want. But Liverpool cannot afford to drop any points in this title race against Manchester City. And Liverpool, I think to me, what John Henry has done at the football club, I think to me is magnificent. He's transformed Liverpool. I think to me, at one point they were a mid-table team, 7th, 8th, but he transformed the football club. He made right appointments. I think to me, bringing Jurgen Klopp to the football club, that was a very, very good appointment. He's brought in right people in around him. I think to me, the CEO of Liverpool, he's brought in the right recruitment team, and they make the right decisions when it comes to signings. You never see them signing 100 million for Jadon Sancho, Harry Maguire. No, they're smart in their business. Liverpool get players on the low side of things. I think in terms of the transfer tag, they do not go for the most expensive players. They go for players that can work for Klopp and can fit in that Liverpool system, and it has worked very well. They have transformed the football club. I think credit must go to them. This is a good example of how a good club is being run. And going into the final, I think to me, Liverpool going as slight favourites. I think to me, at the moment, I think they're one of the best clubs in the world, without a doubt. I think to me, they come back against Sevilla, against Villarreal, can show you the size of the football club. They never say that attitude, the right approach to games, and the tactical know-how of the coach. And Liverpool high intensity game pressing, I think to me will be a very big challenge for Real Madrid, because Liverpool will press them, they will play high intensity football, and they try and kill off the game probably in the first half. Real Madrid on the other hand, sometimes they look they are not into the game, but they are very, very dangerous. They have moments, and when they have got those moments, they seize them and they punish you. This is the biggest difference with Real Madrid compared to these other teams. They can be out of the game, and when they get into, they have those moments, they use them very, very wisely. Karim Benzema will be very, very key. Vinicius Jr. likewise. Rodrigo will play a very big part in the final. I think one missing part from this Real Madrid for the long parts of the season was Ferland Mendy. I think to me he's been out injured. He's come back, and you can see him. He's providing the width together with Dani Carvajal, which is giving Real Madrid stretch teams, and it has shown in recent games against Chelsea, against Man City. They have come from the dead and qualified. I think to me, credit must go to both coaches for qualifying their teams into the final, and we expect an explosive Champions League.
Julius, looking at time, just a quick one and your final remarks.
Well, I thought we were going to talk about the Super League, but then we are looking at it. Let me quickly see this. I know Mr. Rapson Skombe is watching, and I want to put this on record. Nkana Football Club first Power Dynamos, and they lost. Now, in the last 27 games, Power Dynamos has emerged victorious. They've won 13 times, and Nkana Football Club, the big team, has won 8 times, Amos, and then they've drawn 6 times. So already from those statistics, you're able to know which team is a bigger team. But anyway, all in all, the league comes to an end tomorrow when all games will be played, and all the very best, all the teams that will be playing, the likes of Kansanshi Dynamos, Zanaco, Power Dynamos, and Nkana are all fighting to finish the league in the top 4. Amos. So it will be good to see which team is going to finish in the top 4. But I would be happy if I can see Kansanshi Dynamos finishing in the top 4. Remember that for me, if there was an award of a team of the season, I think I can give it to Kansanshi Dynamos. Remember that they were not doing very well when they had Tenan Chilumba. They got rid of Coach TC. They brought in Boyd Mlonda from Butcon, who's done extremely well. I think he's just changed the team, and they've been doing extremely well. So I would be happy if I can see them finish in the top 4. And then also, I'm sure next week when we come back on the show, Amos, this time we'll be able to know who's going to finish in the top 4, and then also which team is going to join the other 3 teams that have been promoted to the MTN Super League. But it's been good to be here, Amos, and looking forward to being here again next week. To the viewers, have a fruitful weekend and a blessed day ahead.
Augustine.
Thank you very much, Amos. I big thanks to the entire production team, and a big thanks to all the viewers that tuned in to watch us. We promise the viewers out there next week we'll give you a proper, detailed analysis of the league, which will end tomorrow. There's only one thing which they are playing for tomorrow, which is yet to be decided in the Super League, and it's the Top Scorers Award. And I fancy Ricky Banda is in the driving seat with 15 goals, being followed by Moses Piri. Wonderful performance by Moses Piri. Won it last season. He's close enough now with 14 goals. Friday Samu left halfway through the season with his 14 goals. It had to take match day 33 to get past Friday Samu, and we have had a wonderful show. Thank you to all the viewers out there, and we hope to see you next week as we give you the review of the Premier League.
This is where we come to the end of the show, and like Augustine said, make sure to join us this coming Saturday as we'll be giving an overview of how the league will come to an end and who is going to be crowned. Maybe qualifiers between that Nchanga against Mighty Mufulira Wanderers, which might be decided today. But from me, Amos, aka Amore, and from the rest of the entire production team, not forgetting Uncle Rapson, who isn't well today. Hopefully to have you next week on set. For now, it's bye-bye. See you next week.